Well, good morning, my Teaser King family. How is everybody today? I am just fine. Hope all is well. So, what do we? We got a big mess going on here. Let's start with gold and silver. Silver's making a comeback at 81.78 on its way up. It's staying out of the 70s. That's all I can say. Gold getting hit for no reason. 50.59 seems to at 50 seems to be the stop. Very good buy if you're buying gold. Silver too. I think I'll go buy some silver for my birthday at 81.74. Will cost me 83.74, so that'll be good. It's the perfect birthday present for moi. Again, it's bullshit. It's paper. It's what can you say? Gold's worth a lot more. There's a shortage. There's huge demand. I saw Bitcoin. It's also down today from 73 to 71,000. So I took it to the next phase. Gold dropping, oil going up. So this is a weekly chart. No, this is daily. So it's gone from 79, the high of 79, the low of 74, opened at 76. It's at 79 now. So that's where our options are going. So that's the problem in the paper world. Now this, I tried to get a weekly. But it was very difficult. I did a historical charge, but it wants to take me back to 2021. So anyway, if I do a zoom of 1 week, that's what it looks like. So it was trading at about 65 and now it's at 79. So partly that's where our gold and silver are going. People selling because they're in options and going into oil because of the war, which is all bullshit for gold. Why is gold shouldn't be going down? It's a war. They're spending cash. That lowers the value. You now have all these countries involved. What the fuck's Saudi Arabia doing in a war with Iran and Israel? What is the U.S. doing in a war between Iran and Israel? This is Iran and Israel's war, not the U.S. And when they ask Trump about what this war is about, he can't answer it. Well, gosh darn it, it's about this. It's about nuclear weapons. No, it isn't. They don't have any. It's about the government replacement. Putting a new government in charge. No, it isn't. They can't control that. There's like 90 million Iranians. They're going to put in the office who they want, not who you want. So he's doing this whole, what does he call it? Government replacement. And it's just no. We don't have any weapons. We're running out of missiles. We have about a 2-week supply, and we go into a war with Israel. And notice how quiet the war with Russia and the Ukraine's gotten. Nobody's talking about that. So one way out of the Ukraine war is to go to Iran. Again, rich in oil. We're broke. We want oil. So we're trying to steal oil, just like Ukraine, Russia. We're trying to steal Russia's oil, gold, diamonds, and natural gas. So we tried to go into Russia and steal it. Didn't work. We tried to go into Venezuela to steal it. It's all crap. We're now trying to go into Iran to steal theirs, and Russia and China aren't going to let us. And I'll tell you, the big winner in this war is Russia. All the people that can't get their oil because the Straits of Hormuz are blocked are going to Russia. China, Japan, India has a lot of oil from the Straits of Hormuz from Iran are going to Russia. So who's really behind it? Is Russia behind this? Is Russia, because Russia's the one making out, selling much more oil to China, Japan, and India than they were before. India is the big loser because they're going to pay for more expensive oil. Also, Iran's in BRICS. So again, this is the U.S. trying to fight BRICS because they know BRICS is gold back, BRICS is too strong, and we can't compete with BRICS. So they went after Iran, who is BRICS, Venezuela, I think, who's BRICS, Cuba, who's joining BRICS. All these Russian type of countries are joining BRICS. So the U.S. is like going, but they won't go after. I mean, they tried sanctioning China. They can't go to war with them. And then they tried to, the suspension of the Russians, which this is kind of bullshit. So if we really dig into following the money, is Russia behind this Iran war? I don't know, but they profit from it. So you don't see them fighting. You see them selling more oil. So really hard to say, but that's who's benefiting. The U.S., they're not benefiting anything. They want a regime change. It'll never happen. Because the Ayatollah or whoever was in charge of Iran, it's a religious thing. Sorry, I'm a bit hungry. It's a religious thing. So you're not replacing him. But one of his sons will take over or something. So killing him the first day, of course, they thought it would be a one-day thing, like Gaddafi or Saddam Hussein, but it's not the same. So there's all these successors waiting. So it's a waste of time and money, and they're attacking Israel. Tel Aviv's in big trouble, and the U.S. basically has no weapons. We're losing aircraft carriers. We're losing our weapons. A missile is like $1 million. We're shooting all these missiles at them. I don't know. Maybe the price of silver is down because of the hey, John Z. Maybe it's down because of everybody going into oil, which really shouldn't affect physical gold and silver. There's still a huge demand. There's still limited supply. Nothing's changed in the physical world. So let's go into what India is doing today, or China's doing today. And we'll look at the China silver price. And it's still hanging at 94, and we're down to 82, basically. So again, I'm not sure why it's down to 94 or how much paper they're using, but should be well over 100. And then let's look at gold. Gold's at 51. See, this is why the Shanghai is not a physical market. Western spot is down because everybody's moving into oil. So why is Shanghai down to 51.24? Makes no sense. So again, they're not really pricing it in physical. But you can see the silver is much higher there. Bitcoin, I said, was 71,000. So that's a different story. Um, what else? Saturday's my birthday. I might go play poker Saturday night. I'm not sure, or Friday night. I will go buy 4 ounces of silver now that I can get it for about $81 an ounce. I can get 4 ounces for 320, or if it was at 100, I can only get 3 ounces. So I think I'll get myself 4 ounces of silver for my birthday because I want it, and it's my birthdays. And then I can live in a cave for 500 years going, my precious, my precious. So we will do that. Waiting to hear about the apartment. I should hear soon. The ace in the hole is I've been here 4 years and I've never missed a payment. So my credit should be good, which is really all the apartment should be worrying about. Can he make the payment? I showed him my Social Security, what I get, because I told him I'm retired, but I told him I do have collectible coins at basically 5,300 a month, which is what the gold price is. And we'll see. The girl initially said, it's okay, you're not working and you're retired. And even when I said I have like physical gold, she didn't really care. She, oh, that's fine. You're fine. So I don't think they're at capacity. They did hold mine since January when I told them. So I'm just waiting for that confirmation, which will be nice. I'll have to pay them $350, and that was at no security deposit, just like an admin fee. And then I'll move in May 1st if everything goes well. And then I'll have to worry about a mover to make sure there's one available. I mean, that's always the hard part. When do you move in? Because you got to move out here May 1st. So you can't move in there till May 1st. So you might have to move in May 30th or April 30th just to have like a move-in date. How much can one day cost you divided by 30? $10, $15. Anyway, that's what's happening there. Let's go into basketball now. Let's go through the games last night. So Oklahoma City against the Knicks. They won 103-100, laying 4.5. So Oklahoma City, Thunder fend off Knicks in playoff atmosphere. So the Knicks looks like a good home dog. I don't know about road dog. So again, Oklahoma City, I believe, played on Tuesday night. So it was back-to-back games. They did get the win, but the Knicks are very competitive. It's not quiet here. That's why I'm moving. Very noisy neighbors, especially the people above. When they walk around, you hear it. Yeah, I mean, they're at work now. It's 11:30 in the day, but when they're home, they're very noisy. They play this surround sound TV, so the walls shake. So yeah, it's not quiet at all. They have a dog that barks every time he comes and goes, and you hear it, and they can't control the dog. I never heard that the dog won't shut the fuck up. So it's very stressful for me. So yeah, and plus it's going to be a few $100s cheaper and should be much quieter. So yeah, you can't trust the noise now. Philadelphia 106-102 against Utah. Now this is a strange game where Utah 18-44, the Z team, and they played pretty good at Philadelphia, who's 34-28. They were laying 7.5. You would have thought Philly would have killed them. Cavante George scores 30. He plays for Utah, I guess. Never heard of the guy. See, that's the problem. You can't track it. You've never heard of the guy. since you're not watching college, you don't know who he is. Like if you watch him in college, you watch Magic and Bird, and you go, "Oh, these guys are going to be good." You can bet on them. This guy, I don't know who he is. I don't know what college he went to. Never seen him. Again, this goes back to it's not on TV. I mean, when is college on TV? Maybe Saturday afternoons. But if I wanted to watch Michigan State a few weeks ago, they're not. Michigan, Purdue. It's not even on TV, or it's on ESPN, which is not TV. So the difference now is you can't even watch the games. The difference before, you could watch the games, right? There's a big game on, it would be on CBS or something. And especially the Big Ten tournament, or Michigan was playing Michigan State with Magic Johnson, the game would be on TV. You could see the game. And that's the problem now. So you can't see the games. They want you to go to all these pay networks, which, it's just not going to work. People do not have money extra because you got to pay for internet, right? And then if you're stupid enough to still be with cable at 130, 140 a month, good luck, good luck feeding your family. And then you still won't have all the channels. And then if you get rid of internet like I have, all I got Roku, which is a one-time $30 fee. And then it gives me Tubi and Pluto, which are movie channels with commercials. And then I get Netflix to get movies without commercials. And the Netflix runs me about $17 a month. And that's it. I'm not going to pay for Paramount or Apple or Amazon Prime. It's funny how these companies that are nothing to do with TV are in TV. Apple and Amazon. Apple makes phones, and Amazon is a delivery service, and yet they're into communications. And that's pushed their stock price up, but we don't even know if it's profitable. So what do? People pay for advertising on their thing. Do people even understand if the advertising is profitable? I doubt it. So this is the problem. So eventually these companies will start going broke, realizing that the advertising doesn't work. And I mean, on YouTube, I see commercials. I'm just looking at the timer. I don't know what commercial's on. I'm so sick of BetMGM, and I'm so sick of FanDuel. All these gambling sites are on there. And you got to be an idiot to gamble on those sites. Hey, you're being tracked. They know if you're winning or losing. And that's the one thing about gambling. It's private. I got a bookie. Joe, here's the bets. We pay on Tuesday. Nobody knows anything. Nobody knows I bet, if I win or lose, what I'm betting on. And that's the beauty of it. It's off the thing. And that's not what it is now. It's all out there. You win a lot of money, they'll know about it on FanDuel or BetMGM. So be careful with that. And I mean, you're out there. Too much data information, you're getting fucked. John G, this NBA is on NBC again. Okay, is it on tonight? I don't know. How would I know that? I don't watch NBC. I don't watch regular TV except for the football games. Was that game yesterday on TV? Let's look at today's schedule. I think it's on the weekends, maybe. I'm talking in general. All right, Portland played Memphis. Portland won 122, 114. Portland was laying 9.5. Portland 30-33, Memphis 23-38. But Portland's traveling from the West Coast, so I could see them not covering. Jrue Holiday goes off for 35 points, makes 8 threes. I don't give a shit if he makes 5 threes. I don't even know which team he's on. I assume Portland. Is Clyde Drexler still playing? The Hawks beat Milwaukee 131 the 113. Milwaukee was a 1.5-point favorite at home. Atlanta 32-31. Milwaukee 26-35. So the better team did win there. I don't know. Like I said, I thought Milwaukee had that one guy on it who was pretty good. But again, when you get these foreign guys, they're not the same as the American guys. And San Diego 130, Indiana 107. San Diego minus 11.5. This was a team, San Diego, playing a Z team in Indy on the coast. So that one did work. So let's go to today's games. I don't know. I think it's on the weekends. Glide the Glide was good. Yeah, I saw it on like Saturday, Sunday, but again, it was Sunday. It was 1:00 Sunday. I'm not going to sit home to watch NBA. And I think there was a 3 or 4 o'clocker, and then there was an 8 o'clocker on NBC. So maybe I watched the 8 o'clocker if I care, but you've killed my interest in the basketball. There's no good players in it. I don't want to see a bunch of 3-point shots. So you've killed the entertainment part of it. It's sort of like the NBA when they're with the stupid kickoffs. And then the NBA or then the NFL, let's go take a break for 5 minutes to do a review. Let's take a break for 5 minutes because of an injury. And you're breaking the game up, right? So I got to go watch 5 minutes of commercials while you do an instant replay, which I don't know why you're doing an instant replay. So you're saying the refs are useless. No matter what they call, they're wrong. Then why do you have them? And then even then, you don't really show the replay where what they're looking at. And then they're confirming with New York to see who bet the game. Who do we need? And so it's ridiculous. That's all I can say. You're ruining this game as you've ruined basketball with all these. Let's just stand around and shoot 3-pointers. So you've ruined the entertainment level. There's no Magic. There's no Bird doing the dipsy doos, the alley oops, and all that are gone. And if they're back, I wouldn't know because you put me to sleep with the 3-point shots. Steph Curry hits a bunch of 3-point shots and they win a title, and then everybody copies it. Well, do you have a Steph Curry on your team? No, it's not going to work. And then all these big men, you got Wilt and Kareem shooting 3-pointers. Yeah, I probably want them in the paint doing skyhooks. So you've ruined the game, and you want me to, it's Sunday night and I'm supposed to watch a game that I can't name one player on. You killed my interest. So the demand's gone, and you've killed the demand. There's nobody to watch the games, which is the problem. Then they fix the ratings saying, look, the ratings are much higher. Well, yeah, if they're fixed, Nielsen's ratings aren't accurate anymore. The whole thing, the ratings are way, way down when you get to an official rating agency. The NBA playoffs are still good. I don't know. I probably don't watch them. There's nothing to watch. You've killed the connection. You can't name guys on the team. And that's the problem. Who do I, it's Larry Bird. I want to watch. It's Jordan. It's Isaiah. It's Lambert. It's Magic and Kareem. It's Shaq and Kobe. I want to watch that game. There's nobody there I want to watch. I don't know who the best player is. Is it some Joaquin Bima, one of these African guys or French guys or European? I'm sorry, I don't care. Don't know who that is. Therefore, I have no interest in watching the game because I don't know. It's just like baseball. There's nobody there. I'm not watching a game with Shotani who can't speak English. Who gives a fuck? He's great. No, Mickey Mantle was great. Willie Mays was great. Not these guys. Anyway, I showed you that 71 All-Star game. There was 20 Hall of Famers. You look at an All-Star game now, if they even still do All-Star games, and there's no Hall of Famers in it. Who's a Hall of Famer that plays now? Nobody. Nobody like Barry Bonds. Nobody like Mantle, Mays. I mean, there's nobody like that. Johnny Bench, Brooks Robinson, Frank Robinson. Nothing. Do I think Kobe was good? Yeah, I think Kobe was good. My father always hated modern basketball. What's modern basketball? Is that after the 70s, 80s, 100s, 220s? What's modern basketball? He said they were all overpaid. Well, I think the guys now are way overpaid in every sport, and it's killing the sports. Because when you didn't make a lot of money, you played because you loved the game, or the passion of the game. Now they're playing for the money. They only want to play in the All-Star games. It's an embarrassment. The NBA All-Star game, and half the players didn't want to play. Really? LeBron, you're too good to play in an All-Star game? Fuck off. I don't want that. So that drives me away also. I don't want to watch players like this. So I don't know this guy on, from Canada on OKC, that Shea guy. I have no interest in him. I don't know what college he went to. I really don't care. I think he went to Kentucky. I really don't care. He's not Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, so I don't really give a fuck. Well, everybody loved Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle was the best player. He was very charismatic. He hit all these World Series home runs. That's why everybody likes Mickey Mantle. He was a winner. He was a guy you could kind of wish I was like him. And that's the point of a Mickey Mantle. When you see Shotani, do you get all warm and fuzzy? Boy, I got to watch Shotani hit. No, you're pissed off. The guy can't speak English. Fuck him. I don't want to root for a guy who can't speak English. When in Rome, there was the Romans. When in America, you better fucking learn English. Otherwise, I'm not interested. I don't like he gets paid way too much. He's a pitcher and an outfielder. It's ridiculous. Does he do either good? I don't know. I don't buy that you can play him. I don't buy it. He can pitch and then the next 4 days play outfield and then pitch the fifth day. No, not possible. You're either a pitcher or you're an outfielder, AKA Babe Ruth. What this guy's doing, I don't buy it. And that's probably how bad the league is, that he can pitch without 5 days rest is bullshit. Ohtani, they say, is the best player ever. Who's they? They obviously didn't see Mickey Mantle or Willie Mays. I'd say Willie Mays is probably the best player. He's a great center fielder, could hit, could run, hit for power, could throw, did the basket catch. So who would say that? I mean, it's like saying Brady's the best quarterback ever, and it's Joe Montana. It's the same thing here. Based on what? Tiger Woods is the best golfer. No, Jack Nicklaus was the best golfer. He won more. He's the best golfer. But they'll say these stupid things just to get reaction. So they're trying to get reaction from you that Shotani was the best player ever, which is a stupid question because you have no idea. Is he better than Mickey Mantle? Who the fuck knows? There are different eras. There's different pitching. He had to face Koufax and Bob Gibson. Who does Shotani have to face? Nobody. I mean, the play is so bad now. Lawrence Taylor said about Joe Montana, he had to play me. He had to play the Bears and the Redskins and all these great teams. Brady, you can't touch him. You can't hit him. So he's not worried about getting hit in the pocket. And, if Montana had all day to throw and couldn't get hurt, he said the guy would have won 10 Super Bowls. So, again, The era's changed. So Tani's playing probably the worst baseball talent ever. And I don't buy he's the best player ever. That's just a stupid comment. I won't really say much about it. In 2010, my father always hated modern basketball, so 2010 on, because they got paid too much. Well, they got paid the market. The problem is the players stink. There's no good player. They don't let. There's no defense called. Oh, if you even breathe at LeBron, it was a foul. That's when I stopped watching. LeBron, in a sense, killed basketball. As far as I can see. So, again, with that, let's get to today's games. So we have Dallas at Orlando. Dallas 21-40, the Z team. The Orlando 32-28. Orlando 8.5, 230. Well, I don't know. I'm not talking overs and unders yet. Again, the game's on KFAA, which I don't know what that means. Go under on Mavs with tough setup for Najee Marshall, Cooper Flagg. I don't know who these people are. And I would say, fuck off if you're giving me. I don't want to hear that because I don't know what it means or who's saying it and how smart they are. So I would ignore that. The number's 230. It's 230. We'd have to see the defenses. But who's Najee Marshall and Cooper Flagg? So I don't even which team are they on, right? So Orlando 8.5, Dallas at 21-40. I would say Orlando at home is probably a good play. Well, it's probably a play because they're playing a Z team. Washington and Utah, two Z teams playing. Washington's 3.5. I'm not going to read these stupid comments. Washington's 3.5, 244. Utah Z team 18-44. Washington is Z team. In this case, I don't know what we do with it. They're both probably have terrible defenses, so I would say go over. As far as Washington 3.5, maybe because Utah played yesterday, I think. That's the other thing you have to check. Did they play yesterday? Washington or Golden State at Houston. Golden State 31-30, Houston 38-22. Houston's 8.5, 213. So maybe there's defense here at 213. So this game seems pretty even. Is Houston much better than Golden State? So Golden State might be a live dog at 8.5. Again, don't listen to my picks. I have no idea. I'm just looking at them, ranking the teams. The Heat and the Nets. Now the Heat should win. They're 13.5-point favorites, 33-29, and Brooklyn is 15-46. So here's a game you would think Miami needs it. They're at home. They should win. Toronto at Minnesota. Toronto 35-26. Minnesota 39-23. Minnesota's 5.5. I would take Toronto plus the 5.5 here. The Spurs at the Pistons. Detroit 45-15. The Spurs 44-17. San Antonio 3.5. Again, being a non-Detroit fan, I would San Antonio just beat them by 20 at Detroit. So I would think San Antonio kills them here. I don't think Detroit's all that good. Chicago at Phoenix. Chicago 25-37. Phoenix 35-26. Should be an edge to Phoenix. They're laying 10.5. Seems like a high number. How bad is Chicago? And the Lakers go to Denver. They're both 38-24. Denver 5.5, 240.5. I don't know how good either team is. I can't say. They both seem even, so I would take the dog here. And then whoever the Pelicans or New Orleans against Sacramento, they're both Z teams. 19 for New Orleans, 14 for Sacramento. New Orleans is 5.5-point favorites. I thought somebody got hurt on Sacramento. I would probably Sacramento as a home dog here. Now let's look where these games are on. The last game on Golf, the Lakers on Amazon, the Bulls on CHSN, Detroit on Fox Detroit, Minnesota on Fox Detroit or FD, Miami on FD, Houston on Amazon, K-Jazz for the Jazz, and no games on TV. So this is a good game. Detroit at San Antonio. I can't watch it. It's not on regular TV. They're making me go to Fox something Detroit or whatever, which I have no idea what that is. I sure as shit ain't paying for it. It's kind of like paying for parking at Vegas. You want me to pay for parking there. That's what you're doing here. I don't want to pay for parking at Caesars. I'm going in to gamble and eat and drink. Why should I pay to park? It's like paying to go into Target or Kroger's. I'm not paying to go into Kroger's. They don't like me, I'll go to another grocery store. That should be cheap because I'm going in to spend money. Why should I have to pay for parking? And that's what these casinos don't understand, charging you for parking. Well, that's what you're doing here. I want to watch the Pistons games. Well, you have to pay to watch it. Fuck off. I'm not going to pay to watch it. I guess I won't watch it then. I don't need to watch basketball. The playoffs, well, it's going to be on what? TNT, which I'm not going to pay for. ESPN, I don't know. And then when it's on Fox or NBC or CBS or whatever, I'll watch a game or two. It behooves you to have the game on Fox, CBS, NBC, so you have more viewers so you can sell ads. If this games are on other channels, first of all, you don't know what the ratings are because you're fucking around with the ratings because Nielsen's fucking around saying, oh, there's 20 million subscribers, so there must be 20 million people watching. So they're looking at the subscriber, not like, how do they know what channel I'm watching on Netflix? How do you know what I'm watching? How do you even know I'm on Netflix? Maybe you know, because I don't need to put in the password. It's automatically there. So I go into Netflix now, I'm on. How do you know I'm on? And how do you know if I'm on? Am I watching Money Heist or if I'm watching the football game? How do you have any idea what I'm watching? That's bullshit. You don't know. I never understood how they knew I was watching a game on CBS when a playoff game would be on there. Well, 50 million people. How do you know that? What are you basing it on? And I'm sure they don't know what I'm watching. At least I hope not. So even the ratings are just skewed. So again, here's Thursday. You don't have one game on TV. You have a couple games you might want to see, like the Laker game playing Denver and the Piston game. But before, they'd always be on like channel 50, right? You could watch it. But now, no. So again, what's hurting the sport? Well, you've got no interest. You've got to pay Fox, FDSD, whatever that means, to watch it. And I have no desire to pay for watching. The recession, the economy sucks. The dollar's worthless. I gotta eat. So why am I paying this? And so that's the big problem. So I don't buy that. That's my whole point. I don't buy that at all. That's a thing. So that's where I'm at with it. You've killed the demand. I can't name a player on Detroit, and I can't really name a player on who's Detroit playing again. I can't name a player on San Antonio, nor do I care. So once you start making, if I started to charge you for my class, I wouldn't get anybody. Maybe I'd get a few people if you found that the gold and silver information was worth it. And I know you'd find the football information worth it because I give you stuff nobody else has. You might pay for that, but I have you pay for my picks so you can make money off of that. So that's okay. Here you would make money on the gold and silver, of course, but that's about it. You would know about inflation and you would know about the depression we're going to have, the recession we're in, the dollar losing its value, and the safety net. I was watching a thing on Bitcoin versus gold. Let me finish this and we'll get into it. And basically, they missed the one point that they don't understand about Bitcoin. Backed by money and the paper dollar is worthless. Anyway, I'll get into that in a minute. So the problem with sports is, as you're saying, as your dad's saying, there's no good players. They're all overpaid. Basketball, I don't root for guys that don't want to play. They want to sit out. They don't want to try. I need to rest. Well, go fuck off. I'm not interested then. If you need to rest, why don't you go work at the grocery store? Or you got enough money. Why don't you go retire? It's like I said, it's like going to Circus Soleil and the Bellagio, and then they're not there. Well, we got all the backups in. We don't have the actual, gymnasts there. So it's, and then you're making it extremely difficult to bet. Well, I bet the Lakers tonight. Oh, wait. Oh, LeBron's not playing, or the other guy that they got's not playing, or whether it's their 4 or 5 top players in the league, and they're going to sit out because they're a bunch of babies. Yeah, I probably don't have any interest in. See, you've killed the demand for the sport in the market, right? Again, we're Say's law. We go make money, and then we demand. And we say, this is what I want: a green shirt. I want a blue shirt. I want a gold piece of coin, a gold coin, a silver coin. I want avocados. I want pita bread. Do I want NBA basketball? No, I don't. I don't want them. No, not happening. And that's the problem. Anyway, so if we're the ones that demand things, it's up to the NBA. They're sounding like Tesla with an electric car. We don't want an electric car. There's nothing wrong with the gas car. I go to the gas station, I put oil in it. I put gas in the car. Pretty simple. I know there's a gas station every mile, and it's not too difficult to put it in my gas tank and push the trigger and watch it fill up, and it takes me 3 minutes to fill up. It's reasonably priced, and I'm good for 8 to 9 days, right? I have my 2018 Camry, and it just turned 90,000 miles after what? It's 8 years now, and it's not even at 100,000 miles yet. So anyway, what would be the point of getting an electric car? None, zero. Oh, the environment. That's bullshit. There's nothing wrong with the environment. This is fucking Earth. It's a planet. You're not going to hurt it because we use gas as opposed to electricity, right? So we're running out of electricity problems with all the AI and all the other Bitcoin and all the other crap that they're using, which uses up a lot of electricity. So that's a bigger problem. That's a bigger threat than the money or than the than the oil gas put into your car. But again, that's what the NBA is. Is there a demand for it? Well, we used to love to watch Magic and Bird and Isaiah, Michael Jordan, Olajuwon, Drexler, all those players. Do I have a demand to watch any of these players, especially Shotani, who doesn't speak English? No, I've lost interest. And he's the only player, and he stinks. And then you've got basketball. You've got whom? Who do we have in that? I don't know. I've never heard of these guys. Then they call it by name, by abbreviation, SKA. What the fuck is that? Well, he's from Toronto. Well, then what's his name? His name's Shea, whatever. Then call him Shea. You called Isaiah and Magic. You had it was pretty easy. Jordan. Stop abbreviating. You lose the audience because we don't know, nor do we care. If some guy is the MVP that you've never heard of, it's probably not good for the sport. So, is there demand for the NBA? And I say no. Now, they're smart enough to put it back on regular TV. Baseball hasn't learned yet. Baseball still off a major network. So therefore, if you do want to see Shotani, what you're making me pay for it. So I want to go to Caesars. I got to pay for parking. Yeah, that's not going to happen. You want me to pay to see Shotani on Paramount or Amazon or Apple? That's not going to happen. Nobody gives a fuck. The only people that give a fuck about them are the Japanese guys and or maybe the people, the Dodger fans. There's a lot more Yankee fans than Dodger fans. I don't care. I would never pay to watch them. I saw him in the World Series. They kept pitching him low and he kept golfing the balls. And then the next game, why they never bean the guy, I don't know. If I'm the manager of Toronto and the guy got 6 hits on me, the next time at bat, it's going to your head. I'm going to beam you. I'm going to beam you or hit you every time you're up. I don't care what the league does to me. You don't get to hit 2 or 3 home runs on me and get 6 or 7 hits on me in an 18-inning game. You're out of your fucking mind. Not going to happen. You hit a home run on Koufax or Gibson, you're getting hit. That's just part of it. You hit my guy. They kept hitting the leadoff hitter on Toronto, George Foster or something. They hit him 2 or 3 times. No big deal. Well, where's the retaliation on Shotani? I'd have nailed the guy. When you want to hit against me, I'm going at your head. You don't like it? Go fuck off. Go back to Japan. I don't really care. So that's the problem with baseball. There's really no demand. What fascinates me is the demand for the Lion tickets. There's like 20,000, supposedly 20,000 waiting list for that garbage. They're not going to win. They're not going to be good for the next 10 years. They had their run. They got lucky with some of their rookies. They kept drafting out of Alabama, like that's the big school. And they got the running back and the receiver and some secondary guys. And now they're all gone. Well, the running back's still there, but you don't have an offensive line. It doesn't matter. And they figured you out. And without your offensive coordinator, you're fucked. And the receiver, he can't catch, but he's all right. He's fast. We'll give him that. Oh, a fast receiver. So is A.J. Brown, but he can catch. I'd rather have A.J. Brown than the Lions guy. Anyway, and people are actually like 20,000 people waiting, and they raise prices to like $500 a game. And people are stupid enough. That's the demand. In Detroit, the demand is I want to go to a Lions game, and I don't care if it's $500 a ticket. Are you fucking crazy? That's ridiculous. So keep in mind, it still says law. And, we have different ages. I'm in my 60s. My look's different than somebody in their 20s or 30s. The young people now just play video games. They put their money in Bitcoin. They're just idiots, basically. They can't think for themselves. They just Oh, it's at Bitcoin's at 100,000. I'm going to buy it. Why? Well, it's going to go up. Why? I can't answer those questions, but I'm going to buy it because Joe's in it and he made money, and I'm going to, but nobody's asking the question, why is it going up? And now it's at 71 today, going down. I'm telling you why you buy gold and silver, because they're very limited and can't be printed. However, they are price fixed, which we know, which is highly illegal, but allowed to happen because JP Morgan runs the government. The government is collapsed. There is no government anymore. There is no, it's all corrupted. They just get paid off by Israel and they get paid off by the defense contractors. And that's your government. It's crazy. We're at a war with Iran. Why? No explanation. Well, so in case he has nuclear weapons, he doesn't have nuclear weapons. Well, we want a regime change. Well, why do you want a regime change? Let them vote for the guy or whatever. That's not your business who runs Canada or who runs Brazil or who runs Iran or who runs Russia. That's not your business. Your business is who runs the U.S. We're still having border problems. There's still people coming into the border. You have all these non-Americans living here that you're paying Social Security to, and you're paying, you're giving them benefits. You're putting them up at hotels. That's what's happening in England. What is going on? This is the strangest world. And it's all these billionaires that got rich buying Bitcoin or whatever. They have they're not investors. There's no chance they know what's going on. They're morons. But this is the problem with government. Government always has people that should not be elected. There's no parameters. Like if I apply for a job, I need, at least a degree in finance or accounting. That's the first thing. Oh, I got a master's. Okay, I'm more. This is what it cracks me up. I can't get a job with a master's in finance for these financial analyst jobs. They just say, oh, yeah, we've gone a different direction, or we chose somebody else. You don't even call me. And I think it's AI, and AI can't comprehend if I say I'm a very analytical person and good at problem solving. AI doesn't understand that. This is the problem with AI. So they overlook me looking for, can I do some of these bullshit IT things that they want that are not finance? And Power BI. Well, I've seen it. I can use it a little bit, but I'm a damn good financial analyst, very analytical, and a very key to a finance department. Yet I'm not even getting looked at because AI is screening it, going, "No, he didn't hit the word we're looking for, so we're going to say no." And I don't know who you're saying yes to, or if it's because I'm a white male and you're saying, "Oh, wait, now we're looking for a minority female or something." Who knows? It's crazy. Because I don't put my age there. I never responded to the guy who asked me what my birthday was. I told him to fuck off. That's not an appropriate question to ask in a job interview. How old are you? What's your birthday, including the year? Then I think you're just scamming me for my information. I don't even think you got a real job there. So these are the problems. You think gas fumes are healthy? George Soros, how come they haven't got rid of him yet? Well, Putin tried to kill him. They're fighting with the Russians. He must have a very good defense team. That's all I can think of. Do I think gas fumes are healthy? I don't know. Do you have a lot of gas fumes that you worry about? I don't see anything happening to it. We're not all falling over as we fill our car with gas. So don't understand the question. When I fill up, I'm there for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and I'm putting gas into my car. What? Tell me the problem. I'm not getting sick. My hair's not falling out. I'm not turning pink. I don't get the question. All right. So this is the problem, right? I got to get back into my train of thought. I hate these stupid questions that are absolutely we're not talking about. Um, so this is the point. You're trying to where was I at? Uh, Anyway, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Gold versus Bitcoin. So there's a video on it that I was looking at. It's 20 some minutes. I'm not going to play it, but I will show you. So it's right here, gold versus Bitcoin. Which one survives? And they made 5 points. So I watched it just to kind of get an idea. So anyway, there was 5 things. And what came out of it was they missed the most important thing. Gold is money, Bitcoin is not. And so they said, well, gold's physical gold in your hands is fine. Physical Bitcoin, the way they can stop you is to stop the banks from cashing you out. Because again, Bitcoin's not real and cannot be used at no business takes it. And so the problem with Bitcoin is if the government shuts the banks down from taking Bitcoin, like China's doing, you can't get your Bitcoin. Well, I got 10 Bitcoins that worth 70,000 a piece. That's 700 grand. I want to pull some out. You can't, because where are you going to go? You got to take it to your bank. The bank won't be authorized to take Bitcoin. So you'll never get it. There's no access to it. You have it, but there's no access to it. And believe me, the government is going to tax the shit out of it because they got a $39 trillion debt. And that's one of the reasons Bitcoin's high. So as you try to pull it, they're going to steal it. And or they're going to tax you. Well, it's not safe. They might not know you have it, but you're going to send it to the bank. So you got to send it to JP Morgan or Chase or Wells Fargo, wherever you bank, and they're going to send it to you. And when they do, the banks are going to not be able to accept it. So where my gold and silver is with me. I got it right here. I don't need a bank to do it. Well, I got to cash it. Well, I go into my coin store to cash it. Not a bank. My coin store will take it because he sells it. He's going to want the inventory in order to pay it out. So that's what my my bank's going to do. So or my coin store is going to do. Maybe they'll give me cash for this because let's say it's $90. It's 2 ounces, 180. And he's going to give me cash for it. The gold's 5,000 an ounce. He's probably going to give me maybe a check. No 1099, so no trail, and that's it. So he said, I'm not going to 1099. I don't believe in it because he believes this is not a collectible. He thinks it is, and it is. It's cash. Again, there's no effect because if you don't make 50 grand, it's a 0% on your capital gain. Capital gain's only 28% if you make over 600,000. Not if you make 100 grand, it's 15%. But they don't want to tell you that. They want to scare you and say it's 28%. Again, this is the problem with most idiots. So this leads people into Bitcoin, but they don't realize they won't be able to get it out. Even in a foreign country, you think, I'm safe. At the airport, I love the example. At the airport, they'll know how much by the weight. You're not bringing bars. If I bring 5 ounces of gold in my pocket, they're not going to know I have any. How much is it going to weigh? 5 ounces, not pounds. And I put it in my shoe at the X-ray station. They won't know shit. And I'll put quarters and dimes on it. And then once you get past there, that's it. You're done. No other time do you need it. Then you land, or do you declare anything? No. Okay. And you walk there, and then you're in Switzerland or Germany, and Yeah, I'd like to sell an ounce of gold for 5,000, 10,000, whatever. And they happily give it to you because they know gold's real money. The other thing was all the central banks are buying gold. Nobody's buying Bitcoin. So you have that. And then uh, again, Bitcoin, it's not real. You can't really use it. So if I were to go, if I'm in Switzerland and I have an ounce of silver, I can probably go to a restaurant and eat. Can I pay my hotel bill? Probably. Bitcoin, no way, because they don't know the value and nobody takes it. It's not money. Money has to be accepted by everybody. So if I'm in Amsterdam, or if I'm in Amsterdam, I can use this. Can I use silver? Maybe. I have a better chance of using silver and handing it over than I would Bitcoin because I need to have Bitcoin, which I don't. I'm not set up for it. I don't want it. And so that's another problem with it. And then they were talking counterparty risk, which I really don't know what that is. It makes no sense. It's mine. I have the gold and the silver. Counterparty, I guess, is the bank, and the risk is what I don't know. But if I have money, I guess the risk is that they're going to keep printing it, making it worthless, which has already been done. So I think it's printing the dollar makes it worthless, but you can't print gold and silver. You can't print Bitcoin. There's supposedly 21 million, which I hear they're trying to make it go higher, try to inflate the shit out of it. But even all 21 million aren't used. It's only used by people to buy it because they think it'll go up. It's not used in transactions. It's not used at the grocery store or to get gas. And it never will be because nobody can trust it because nobody knows the price because it's all a Ponzi scheme. And that's it. Where gold and silver is a Ponzi scheme the other way. They're pushing the price down, but the price is really much higher, which we know. How come they haven't gotten rid of them yet? Well, I told you because Putin's trying, but apparently he's got good defense. People just use their debit cards or credit cards now. Well, they owe. You can't just use your debit card if you don't have money in the bank, and the credit cards you have to pay back. The credit cards are a loan, so you have to pay them back, but they're still money. A credit card is money, right? Don't think it isn't, right? You take your money to pay it back. So if I owe $1,000 on a credit card, I need 1,000 of these to pay it off in my bank account. So don't be this illusion. They are money. They're electric money, but you still need the dollars to pay them. And especially on a debit card, you need the money in the account. So if everything goes to gold, well, the banks carry gold. The banks already carry gold. All the BRICS countries have gold. In the U.S., I don't know. I would imagine J.P. Morgan has gold. Can't be that stupid. But I mean, that's where we're headed because it's the only thing we can trust. When you print the shit out of this, what do you think the value is? It's worthless. They're not going to tell you that, but we know it is because you go to the grocery store and you're buying a cantaloupe for $3.99, or you're buying what did I buy today? A cauliflower, $3.99 for a cauliflower, and it's smaller than it used to be. That's because the dollar is worthless. It now takes $3.99. So as I said, inflation is printing the money, which makes the value of the money go down, which makes prices go up in terms of the money. So I need $4 now to buy a cauliflower head that I needed 50 cents for in the 70s. And so my dollar's losing value. My gold is not losing value. It's being pushed down by paper, but it's the physical is not being pushed down. The demand is huge, especially in a war. This price should be triple what it is today because we're in a war. Everybody runs to gold, but no, everybody's, where are they going? Bitcoin? These people are just so stupid to trust that Bitcoin's real money. But these are the young kids, and they see the Bitcoin go up, and they don't ask why, and they don't know what it is, they're not going to be able to get their Bitcoin out of the banks, but they're in it and they don't know why. I mean, I analyze it. If I thought it was a good thing, I would tell you to buy it, but I tell you don't buy it because it's not a good thing. It isn't real. What's wrong with this dollar? It's not backed by anything. They're not backed by gold or silver. They're just pieces of paper with a number on it. They're not worth anything. They're monopoly money, right? That's what I tell you over and over. Yet, with gold and silver, it's gold and silver. It can't be printed, and it can't lose its value. So that's what I'm saying. With Bitcoin, it's not backed by anything either. How does Bitcoin have a value? It's a mystery to me why it's worth $68,000, but really that's in fantasy land because nobody uses it. You cannot go to the barbecue restaurant and use Bitcoin. I know, I've asked him. He's like, I don't want it. It's not real. You can't use it at Kroger. That's the point. And I can use silver at that restaurant. I might eat there a lot soon, but that's the difference. You can eat there with it. So with that case in point, our gold and silver are going up. Bitcoin just fell $60,000 from 120 to 60. So you can't tell me that's going up. Even though gold's suppressed, it's still over 5,000. Silver's into the 90s. So, and that's suppressed. Wait till we get a physical and it goes. This war we got all these wars. Oh, let's see. Napoleon had all the wars. Romans had all these wars when they were collapsing. Napoleon, London, England was in World War I, World War II when they collapsed. Amsterdam, I don't know. They were what was it? I can't think of from Pirates of the Caribbean. They were the India Tea Company or whatever they were. I think too fast because I'm thinking about it, but I don't remember the name of it. East India Trading Company. That's what they were. And, they were at war. They were in the old days, the countries with the boats won because they could trade. You're supposed to have free trade. We don't have it. You're at war with Iran. No reason. You're at war with Ukraine against Russia. No reason. They're just trying to sell missiles because they're broke. It's the stupidest idea I've ever heard. But Trump's too stupid to go, this makes no sense. We should stop doing it. The defense contractors are paying all the Congress and Trump to try to sell defense contractor missiles and tanks and everything. Nobody can afford them. Nobody has millions of dollars sitting around so they can buy 10 missiles, shoot them off, and now you need 10 more, only they take a year to make, and they need silver, which is very difficult to find now. So when you use a debit card, would it be used by gold instead of money? Well, you will have gold in your account. So when the money goes away, if you have gold, and then everything will be very cheap. So gas will be 3 cents a gallon in gold, right? Again, as the money's worthless, everything gets more expensive because the money's not worth anything. So it pushes prices up. But when you stable it with gold instead of money, all the prices go back to that. So the value of the gold goes, gas in gold terms, probably 2 or 3 cents. So yeah, I'd imagine you'd put some gold or silver in your bank account, which would then be tied to the debit card, or maybe you just have a credit card that you pay with gold or silver. And that's what will happen. So it's instead of everybody carrying ounces of gold around with them to the gas station, to the grocery store, you'll still use a credit card that will link to gold on a gold account instead of a regular account. When I would use a debit card, will it go to gold currency instead of money currency if everything resorts to gold one day? Yeah, I just said that. Well, that's the only way to do it if we're using it. But notice there's no Bitcoin card. Nobody takes Bitcoin. Nobody wants Bitcoin. Nobody knows the value. One day it's 120, the next day it's 60. So nobody really knows. And with the US dollar, you can't. In a second, I want to get some water. All right. So this is the real problem. We need money as the medium of exchange, which people seem to not understand either. People seem to think, well, we won't use money anymore. We'll use just credit or something like Back to the Future 2, where Biff paid for the cab with his thumbprint with credits. Well, that's not money. That won't work. It only works in fantasy land in Hollywood. It won't work in the real world because it has to have value. And you can't value, uh, a thumbprint or credit or anything. It's gotta be money, and it's gotta have a value. And the reason you have gold and silver is it stabilizes it. Gold and silver will stabilize everything because you can't print it, so you can't ruin the value. The whole key concept here is if you keep printing the money, it keeps losing value. But since nobody's keeping score of the value, then you don't really know. You know the value of gold and silver on a bullshit Ponzi scheme, but you don't know the value of the dollar. And even the Bitcoin at was it 68,000 today is in monopoly money. So once the dollar goes away, Bitcoin goes away. This is what they didn't tell you in that video. They never said it's attached to the dollar, and when the dollar devalues, the Bitcoin also should devalue. So why would Bitcoin go from 120 to 60 with the dollar going down? Does that make any sense? Wouldn't it have gone up to from 120 to 200 because the dollar keeps getting printed and losing value? But wait, Bitcoin went down so much. So it's not inflationary. It doesn't hedge against inflation like gold. Gold and silver went up. Gold and silver should still be going up because of the supply. Very high demand, very low supply should make Johnny price go up dramatically. You think things would be cheaper in gold and fix the economy? Absolutely. Because the more dollars there are, as I said, the more dollars printed, they lose value. So it takes more dollars to buy the same, tuna fish. Well, in gold, there's a lot less gold than there are dollars. Gold's all you can get out of the ground. There's 200,000 tons. That's it. Money, there's $150 trillion. So what value can they possibly have? So with gold, it's limited. You got to dig it out of the ground, and it's so there's a lot less of the gold. So everything prices come down. You certainly wouldn't need gold worth, let's say a car is 35,000. That's in dollars. With an ounce of gold, maybe you buy the car with an ounce of gold. As the ounce of gold goes up, but the value of the car is in dollars. So keep that in mind. That's the key to it. And they can't sell cars. Cars are on the lots. That's why you see the used car value go down because there's so many out there. There's so many cars nobody wants. These electric cars, Tesla, they want 90,000 for them. They can go fuck themselves. 90,000 for an electric car, piece of shit that the battery's going to run out in 6 months and it won't start in the heat or the cold. And there's not enough charging stations that I'm going to be stranded trying to take a trip. Let's say I was wanting to to travel to Alabama again. And could I even make it in an electric car? Would I know where the charging stations are? Probably not. What if it got really hot or cold? It's winter. Let's say it's really cold. My car won't open. It won't turn on. Now what do? I don't have that problem with gas. So there's a lot of problems with the electric car, not only being very expensive, but just finding the station. What if my battery doesn't work? My car won't open. I'm dead. Yeah, I don't want that. Very easy. I can just open my door, unlock it, and go. But yes, they'd be much cheaper because their gold would hold its value, and gold's more limited. So a can of tuna for $4 in monopoly money probably be 30, 40 cents in gold, because gold's stable and fixed and much more limited. So you're changing the dollar with that. So how will employers pay you still in cash? Well, they won't use cash if there's no more cash to pay you in, right? Alabama sucked. I told you that. So how will employers pay? Well, they'll use whatever the currency is. So the object is to come out with a different currency. And it should just be gold back. So it'd be probably similar to this with a gold backing on it. They used to have gold and silver certificate dollars. And so that's what it would be. You would have a dollar with the gold certificate or silver certificate. Your salary would adjust to the new amount of the value of it. So if you're making 100,000 with this dollar, you're probably going to make 40,000 with the gold currency, but you'd be way ahead. Things would be much cheaper. And that's what you got to realize. So that's really what's happening with that. But you'd much rather have gold and silver because they can't print it. And it's yours. You own it. You have it in your hands like I do. It's what it said was that what the government can see, they can take, but what they can't see, they can't take. So they just, if you have the money, like back in the 30s, they had the money in the banks. So it was easy to go into the banks, take your money. But now nobody's knocking at your door. Hey, I see you got gold. Give me your gold. Not that you're going to let them in anyway, but they're not going to seize it. It's much easier to go after your Bitcoin. And when you try to get out of it, they take it. Your stocks, they'll just take. Your money in the bank, they'll just take. So there's no reason to go after your gold. Keep in mind, this government is invading Iran to have a regime change. And you're worried, will they take my gold and silver? Oh, probably not, but they're going to steal a lot of shit. They're going to steal your Bitcoin and your money and your stocks. That's why the only thing you can do is be in gold and just keep it on you in your possession and lock it away somewhere. You should be okay. But in 1933, again, first of all, we're on the gold standard, so he needed more gold. We're not on the gold standard now. And secondly, you didn't keep your money at home in a safe. You kept your money in a bank. And with your money in a bank, then they would go to the bank to steal your money. And they did give you $20 for it, which in 1933 was a lot of money. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like you just gave them the gold and you didn't get anything. You got the $20 price on it. But a lot of people didn't give it. You know, they might try to scare you. Oh, there's 10 years in prison and it's fine. Most people did not give up their gold and silver. That's just a fantasy. People just said, fuck you, and they didn't, and they held it, and they put it in their floor or their backyard, or they buried it or whatever. They did not give up. Probably 90% of the people did not give up their gold. Again, only people that had the money in the bank the Federal Reserve went to the bank and they said, here it is. That was it. They didn't go to people's houses. And, you know, I hate that they use that as like a scare tactic. That's AI for you, scare tactic. Anyway, so we should see higher oil prices with this whole Strait of Hormuz, but it's very limited here. It's only 2% do we use from there. China, India, it's 50%. China, it's like 40%. Those people get hurt, but they can just buy the oil from Russia, Japan, China, and everything. So that might be why Russia's just sitting there letting this war happen, going, we're making a lot of money on the oil. And again, Iran's in BRICS, as is a lot of those countries going to join BRICS. Venezuela's in BRICS, Cuba's in BRICS. All the countries that the U.S. are going after are BRICS countries, and they're fucking with Russia and China, which you don't want to play with them. So that's what's happening with them. So everything is inflated because of the dollar is overprinted. Yeah, I mean, that's what I keep trying to teach you. Because they print the dollars, the value of the dollar goes away and everything's priced in dollars. So instead of needing $5 for tuna, you need $10 for tuna, right? So the $10 isn't really real because it's in dollars. In gold, it would probably cost you, it wouldn't even be that. In silver, it would cost you a tenth of an ounce for tuna, right? Because silver has gone up in value. So that's really what the story is. That's why Bitcoin doesn't protect you, because it's, it might be 21 million, who the hell knows? But with Bitcoin, it's priced in dollars. So the whole Ponzi scheme gets hurt because the dollar loses value. So the Bitcoin is worth even less. That's what you've got to see there. So with that, that's what you got to understand. So that's the whole game, right? Is the Bitcoin is not limited. Is 21 million limited? I don't know. I have a hard time believing 21 million is limited. When I sit there and I have a Joe Montana rookie card, that there's very few tens, or the Mantle card or the Maze card. And I have a lot of numbered cards that are numbered 25 and 50. These cards are limited. There's only made 50 of them. You're trying to tell me 21 million is limited. It's limited compared to 200 or 150 trillion dollars. It's limited, but then it goes back to demand. Is there demand for Bitcoin? No, there's not really demand for Bitcoin. A few people have it, the Saylor, the Trump, and the Larry Fink, and it's in ETS, but there's really not demand. Nobody wants it. Nobody takes it. That's the point. You go to a grocery store. Why don't they take it if it's so whip-de-doo wonderful? Because they don't know what it is. They don't know what it's worth. They can't touch it and feel it. They can't see it. And how do they nobody understand? Oh, you got to go to I got to download it and send it to my bank. And how long is it going to take? 5 days before my bank takes it. All kind of confusing. So nobody wants to touch it. Gold and silver, here you go. Thank you. I got it. I know the value is very expensive with gold and silver. So the demand for the gold and silver is much stronger than anything else. And everybody wants gold. That's why all the central banks are buying gold and silver, not Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin is just a Ponzi scheme. Nobody believes in it. Yeah, Michael Saylor with his bullshit, because he's in it and he wants the price to go up, he'll make money. But even he has to sell it to get the money. It's not worth anything on its own. In fact, you can't see it, and you're going to be lucky. So the thing is, well, when I travel, I land in Rome and I can go into my Bitcoin. But how do you get the money in Rome? You got to go to an ATM, but you got to put the money in your account. Well, how is that any different than leaving your money in the account in the U.S. and going to Rome or Greece or anywhere, and then going to your ATM and pulling the money from your checking account into your, doing an ATM out of your checking account? How is that any different? Well, in Bitcoin, I can go into my wallet. You still got to take it back to your bank, which puts it into your checking account so you can use the ATM. There's no difference. You can't be in Rome and say, I want to take my Bitcoin. Yeah, but to where? It doesn't go anywhere. I can't go to the Bank of Rome or the Deutsche Bank. Let's go to the Deutsche Bank. Can I download the money into a Deutsche Bank to get it? No, well, you need an account at the Deutsche Bank. Oh, okay, I'll set up an account. Are they set to take Bitcoin? Maybe they don't. China has just outlawed Bitcoin. You can't have it there. So these are a lot of the problems that you're facing with something like a Bitcoin. Well, how do I do gold? Well, I can carry an ounce of gold with me to Rome, and I can go to a jewelry gold store and say I'd like to sell the gold, and they'll give me, $5,100 or whatever it is in euros. They'll give me the equivalent because then they got the gold. They have it. They'll check it out. Yep, it's legit, and they'll pay you for it. Any jewelry store, and that's the difference because they'll see it's really gold and they'll pay you. I kept talking to Jen. I said, stop going to the pawn shop for it. Go to a jewelry store. She'd go to a pawn shop and they probably killed her on it. But she didn't listen, or she couldn't get to a gold store. I don't know. But that's what you do. So I could take the gold on the plane with me, take 2 ounces. I'd get $10,000, which is more than enough, and trade it in at a coin store or somewhere. I don't think the banks would be a smart place, but a coin store. There's got to be stores you can buy gold and silver at in all these countries, right? And then just sell it, and then you get the money that way, which is far easier than Bitcoin and moving it into my account and moving it into my moving it, then ATMing it. Seems like much easier if I just sell it before I leave, put it in my account, and then I can just ATM and it's already in my account, right? I mean, if you want to get technical, I can use the ATM in any country, either pulling it out of my checking account. Chico, why they say it's a sign of the times, it's going up because the day of age things are more expensive compared to the past. Pawn shops are the worst. They rip you off. Well, yeah. I mean, that's what a pawn shop is. I don't understand your question. A sign of the times. Well, it's called inflation. I've told you that many times. The dollar's losing value. You can see in the 70s. If you watch these older, they're on YouTube. There's the 70s. And McDonald's, a hamburger is 50 cents. So that's what they mean. Now it's $5, $6 for a hamburger. That's because the dollar's lost value. I mean, it's very simple. They keep printing the dollar and it's lost value because the more you print, the value drops in it. There's just no official, the value of the dollar is now 0. Or the value of the dollar is now 1 cent. They don't have that listed anywhere, but that's what it is. It's between 1 cent and 0 right now, the value of a $1 bill. The value of 100 is worth $1. That's why I tell Bobby, when you get your $1 million, he couldn't get gold for it, is just take it and go buy gold and silver with it. Because they actually get, well, whatever, after tax, it gets 500,000-600,000, but you'll get it. And it'll go up. If you keep it in money, it's only worth maybe 10,000 for his million. That's all it's worth. It's worth 1%, right? So he loses 99% of the value of his $1 million. So I told him to fire his admin who did that because it was the stupidest investment he could have done. It's good if everything remains even, if there's no money printing, if there's no inflation, if the dollar holds its value, it's a beautiful thing. But this guy didn't know, and it didn't know shit. There's no way that's going to happen. We're not on the gold standard. The money has to lose its value. That's why every currency goes out. The dollar loses their value because they print it. And then they go to war. And what are we doing? Right down the line. Let's do Ukraine, which makes no sense. Iran, which makes no sense. Venezuela, which made no sense. Mexico, I don't know what the hell that was. All these wars are so they have to buy the defense contractors missiles. That's what they're doing. They're drumming up sales for the defense contractors because they're the ones who are the lobbyists who pay the congressmen off, so they will go along with it. our government is gone. I wouldn't vote for anybody because there's nobody to vote for. It's terrible how the government got so corrupt. It's just like Rome. That's when Rome collapsed. All the government was corrupt. Nero is burning down the fucking city. What is that? So that's what you have. Nero burning down. You got the same now. You got Trump burning down all these countries. And then we're going to war with no weapons and no military and no soldiers. I love these proxy wars. I've never seen this before. Hitler didn't invade Europe with soldiers that weren't German. Give them that credit. At least they were Nazis. They were German people fighting. Here, Trump, well, we'll get the Ukrainians to fight Russia for us, and we'll get whatever in Iran, and we'll get whatever in Venezuela. We'll use the CIA there. We have no army. We have no weapons. They're all depleted. We gave them all to the Ukraine, and it takes a year at least to replenish. And it costs a lot of money to do that, which we don't have. So we don't have much time as a country. People seem to think, oh, that's 20, 30 years away. That was 20, 30 years ago. 2008 is now 20 years from now. We've never recovered from it. A lot of people lost a ton of money. And, people, they've made money in the stock market because it's phony, or they made money in Bitcoin, which is phony, but try to get your money out. You're not going to be able to. Maybe in the stock market you could get it, but not in Bitcoin, because you got to go to the bank for it. You've got to get it out of your wallet. From what I understand, is a wallet which is connected to your bank. So it's like PayPal. Somebody pays for Teaser King, and I transfer it into my bank account. So I guess Bitcoin, you take it out of your wallet, and I guess it goes into whatever bank you're attached to, and you got to hope the bank still accepts it. And I don't believe you can just be in Germany and say, okay, I want to get some of my Bitcoin, and you can get it without a German bank. I mean, how do you get the money? How do you pull it out of your wallet into your pocket? That's the problem with Bitcoin. But Bitcoin's not real. It's a Ponzi scheme. That's the one thing he doesn't say in there, is it's attached to the dollar. And if the dollar goes bankrupt, there goes your Bitcoin. But gold doesn't need the dollar to go bankrupt, and that's the big difference. Plus, you can actually say, what does an ounce of silver look like? And you go, here it is. Here's silver. Here's 2 ounces. Boom. It's a maple leaf. That's what it is. It's in my hand. I can go walk it to the coin store and get it. So very, very easy. Anyway, that's this one. Gold versus Bitcoin. And the guy, these AI ones I don't like because they're not real. Like Mr. Fuji, the AI Jeff. I mean, he always kind of talks doom and gloom, confiscate your money, but they're not going to, but he brings it up. Like, well, they did in 1933. We're on the gold standard in 1933. We are not on a gold standard now. We're in a depression then. Well, we're in a recession now. But it was wrong for the government to take your gold in the first place, to take anything. And that's where we get into laissez-faire. Leave it alone. Keep the government out of it. If you keep the government out, we would be fine. But 1913, when you brought in the Federal Reserve, the central bank, you fucked everything up. And we've been having, we had World War I, then we had World War II, then we had Vietnam and Korea, and then we had how many market crashes? 1929, something in the 60s, 1987, 2000, 2008, and then we're due our big crash now, 2026, 2027. The market's going to fucking 1,000 or two. But right now they just tell a story, and people are stupid enough to believe, oh yeah, we're fine. Oh, the dollar's fine. It's the world reserve currency, which is absolutely meaningless, which it isn't anymore. Gold is. BRICS has a bunch of gold and silver, and they've come out with gold-backed currency. So how our dollar can be worth 2 cents is not, there's no fucking way. It is not worth 2 cents. So anyway, so gold versus Bitcoin is not even a conversation. Gold, you can put in the hand, you know what it looks like. Bitcoin, let me know what it looks like. And how do you price it? Gold is somewhat supply and demand, right? Okay, forget these options on COMEX, but if there's a huge demand for silver because we want to make, we want to make solar panels, we want to make missiles with the Tomahawk missiles, that's the demand for it. And then, oh, there's a low supply, so the price will go up because you have a big demand and low supply. Tell me what Bitcoin makes. First of all, it isn't real. It's not, you can't tell me what it looks like, but where's the supply and demand for Bitcoin? Where's the demand for Bitcoin? What is it good for? Nothing. You can't put it in weapons. You can't put it in batteries or solar panel. You can't put it in anything because it's not real. So Bitcoin is not real. So there's no demand. And you have really, okay, let's say you have 20 million in supply. Well, how many people have it? But people don't trade it. People who buy it just say, well, I'm just going to hold it so it can go up in value. So that means it's not money. It's not used. It's not used for transactions. It's not used to make anything. So what is the Bitcoin? What is this? What is the demand? The only demand is so I can make more money because I don't know why. And the supply is supposedly 21 million, which I highly doubt. What's it look like? I can't explain it. Can I hold it? No. So, I mean, there's a huge difference in gold and Bitcoin. If you hold Bitcoin, you're out of your mind. Gold, okay, why is Bitcoin 60,000? So they can tax you on it. They're letting it go so they can tax you. And then when you need to pull it, they'll keep it. And that's their design. We need $39 trillion. But in gold, I got it in my hands. You can see what it looks like. You can feel it. You can put it in your safe. It's safe. And everybody knows what it looks like. Why it matters which country, I have no idea. To me, this is actually a 2-ounce silver coin, right? This is 2 ounces. It happens to say make believe on it versus U.S. dollar versus versus Zimbabwe or versus South African versus the Cougaran versus the Philharmonic. What the fuck difference does it make? It's 2 ounces of silver. Why does it have to be a maple leaf versus the eagle? Well, there's more demand in the US for it. No, there isn't. People just want silver. They don't care what it is. I didn't care. It was silver. Well, it's for when you sell it, you don't have to pay capital gains on certain. I don't have to pay capital gains on that. If I only sell a few ounces, there's no 1099, there's no capital gains. If I do, it doesn't even matter because I don't make 50 grand. So my capital gains rate would be 0. So again, not necessary. So I've been buying these cheaper with going, it's an ounce of silver. What the fuck difference does it make? Maybe it's a little bit now, but soon when the shit really starts hitting the fan, you're not going to see, they'll take whatever you got them. Whatever you, the stores will need it. So whatever you have to give to them, they'll take. And it shouldn't be this 97% versus 95% or shit like that. Well, we need whatever inventory we can have because that's how we're in business. We need gold and silver inventory to sell it. Well, I don't know. You're charging me 97%. Why can't I get spot? And then pretty soon it'll be, yeah, we need inventory to sell. So yeah, we'll give you spot because we're competing with these other stores who might give you spot because they need inventory to sell. So we basically have the store's inventory. Do they really give a fuck if it's a maple leaf, Cougaran, Philharmonic, or an eagle? I don't think so. So maybe I should go to Canada to sell this one because it's a maple leaf. But that's the thing. And so we're looking at this war, and they're using up a lot of silver in their weapons. They're using up a lot of petrol in their planes and their tank in the boats. So they need a lot of oil for that. And the price of oil has gone up. They spend a lot of money. They got to feed the troops. They've got to, they need weapons and they need artillery. They need bullets, missiles, tanks. That isn't cheap. And once you shoot your missile, you need more, which costs money. So it's a very expensive thing to have a war because there's no revenue in it. You're running a store, at least you're making sales, and then you can pay your employees. There's no sales in a war. Where are you getting your money to keep making these $1 million missiles and feeding your people and giving them more bullets and guns to do it? And when the jets fly, there's a lot of fuel, and then they fire missiles. Well, they got to replenish the missiles, and the fuel is very expensive. So where are you getting this money to pay for it? We're printing it. Oh, and what happens to money that gets printed? It loses value. Well, we're the reserve currency. I don't care what you are. You keep printing your money, it isn't worth a nickel. So these people that think because it's the reserve currency doesn't matter, they're out of their fucking minds. The problem is us as Austrian economists, or you can call it classical economists, either one, us Adam Smithers, know that you keep printing and the money goes, and it doesn't matter if it's reserve currency or not. And it's not anymore. The gold is, but they won't say it. And that's the problem. Most of these guys are Keynesians, and they think, well, we can keep printing because we're the reserve currency. And so when most of the people think that, you keep printing it, and nobody wants to face the realization that the money's worthless. And that's the problem. So the story told is the money's fine. We're the reserve currency, and there's no value lost, except when you see it doesn't buy you anything at the grocery store anymore. And then people will sit there and say, no, the inflation is based on costs going up. Well, you go to the grocery store and the 2 liter of Coke was $3 last year, it's $3 this year. Look, no inflation. It used to be 99 cents. What are you talking about? No inflation. In fact, it used to be 10 cents in the 70s. Now come up with a 2 liter for 59 cents or 99 cents. And now it's $3. What do you mean there's no inflation? Well, I'm talking year to year. Well, but that's not how you measure it. You don't measure it by prices. You measure it by money printing. And the more money you keep printing, the less value it has. So once you know it has no value, how the fuck do you measure inflation with that? You can't measure it by prices. Yes, you need more dollars to buy things, but it's the dollar that's being inflated that needs to be measured. And you can't measure, okay, we went from $2 trillion to $5 trillion. What's the inflation rate? Well, it's a lot. You now have $5 trillion instead of two. Not, well, the price of the Coca-Cola didn't move, so we don't have any inflation. And that's the goods that the government tries to sell you, that you think everything's fine because inflation's 2%. So you go, oh, it's just 2%. You don't even know what inflation is, but it's only 2%. So you think that's good. And this is the problem. And it's not 2%. And that's where you're at with it. So that's the problem. You're being lied to right and left. We're in a war for no reason with Ukraine and Russia. We're in a war with Israel and Iran. We're in a war in Venezuela. We're going to go into a war with Cuba. We don't have any weapons or military, and we don't even use our own military. Or I guess we're going to use the CIA to invade Venezuela and invade Cuba and invade Iran. It's hysterical. We don't have a military. We can't afford the weapons. The defense contractors are running the country. The billionaires are making policy changes. Let's invade Iran. Trump looks like an idiot. Well, it's because of the nuclear weapons they have. They don't have any. Well, it's because we want a regime change. No, you're not going to get that. You're not going to be responsible for the regime change. The Iranian people will come up with some other solution. Probably the same guy that was there, his son or something, right? That's what they did in Venezuela. It didn't change anything. So I don't know what game plan these idiots are using. None of these guys are qualified. Like I was saying earlier, maybe this is what I lost my train of thought on. When I apply for a job, I got a master's in finance. Well, we want to hire you as our senior financial analyst. You qualify. What's the qualification to be president or Congress or senators? There's none. You're in law school. You're an attorney. That doesn't qualify you to do anything because attorneys are just scammers. So you have no qualifications. What are your qualifications to be president? Well, I ran General Motors or Ford. Maybe that would be a qualification for you to be president. But the way it is now, Trump is in way over his head. So is Biden. So is Obama. So was Clinton. All of them were in over their heads. All of it was bought and paid for. The Israelis bought and got Trump into office this time. Whoever put Biden in, George Soros. You got a guy like George Soros sitting on the sidelines, fucking everything up here because he's shorting the dollar and wants the dollar to collapse so he can make another $1 billion like he did in England. Why are all these foreign entities involved with our government? We're supposed to have a limited, constitutional, limited republic. That's what we are. We're not a democracy. Alyssa thought we were a democracy. I said, we're not a democracy. So they think we're a democracy, which we're not. Because again, you could have more people vote for A than B, and then you'd have to put it in. And that's not the way the Constitution works. It's very clear. You must have gold and silver. You cannot have a central bank. Very limited government, low taxes, free trade. This is what the Constitution says. Yet we're not watching any of it. Trump with his tariffs. What is that? Well, I know we got 39 trillion, so let's tariff everybody and we'll get all this money in, but it won't. It doesn't work that way. They just stop selling. China sells to Japan and Korea and Vietnam. They don't need to sell to us. We have money that's worthless. Nobody wants our money. We have no gold. We have no silver. We won't open up Fort Knox because we know what they see will be nothing. It's just asinine. The whole thing is asinine. And that's the problem with it. What is wrong with this country? And this is what happened to Rome. They caved in from the inside. They lost all their gold, and the Ottomans got it, and the Ottomans' army invaded and took Italy because of the inflation. And that's what we're doing. Once you ruin your money, you're fucked because nobody wants to do business. Nobody wants your money. They're not idiots. They understand. Fucking Xi and Putin understand gold better than we do. Really? And how has that happened? And yet what do? They buy as much gold as they can and silver, and they stock it and keep it in. We're not selling it. And the U.S. is like, oh, geez, we thought our paper would help us. And that's the problem, right? We're living in like fantasy land, and Russia and China are living in reality, and India and Brazil and all the BRICS countries have gold-backed currency, and they're the ones thriving, and we're sitting there like a bunch of morons. Why aren't we in BRICS? We should be in BRICS. If anybody should be in BRICS, first of all, we should have bought gold and had gold-backed currency. How we are too stupid for that is beyond me, but it's a lot of Keynesians. Like I said, I'm in the locker room, and my friend was there, my lifeguard who we talk gold and silver, and his buddies were there. And I asked his buddy goes to some college and says, well, I'm taking economics. What kind? What do you mean? Keynesian or Austrian? He had no idea. Well, it must be Keynesians then, because when you learn Austrian economics, the way I teach it and the way my teacher taught it to me, what do you say? This is Austrian economics. You're proud to differentiate it because it's real terms. It's easy to learn. There's no graphs. There's no bullshit. And yet and he said, I don't know. I said, well, that must be Keynesian. If the guy didn't say it's Austrian, it's Keynesians. They like to hide it from you. He says, all it is a bunch of graphs and supply and demand lines, and nobody gets it, and nobody would. I says, well, next time you're in class, ask your teacher about gold. And I went into about a 20-minute talk in the locker room with this guy and my buddy about gold. And it was very simple. You can't print gold and it won't lose its value. And you print the dollar and it loses value. And that's why you buy gold. like a 5-minute dissertation. And he's like, yeah, that makes sense. I says, go ask your teacher about gold. See what he says about it. It'll be over his head. He won't have a clue. And this is the problem. You're teaching Keynesian economics to all these people, so they're clueless and they won't get into gold because the government wants you in Wall Street because we're run by the banks, and you'll get into stocks and bonds, and all the financial planners get commission if they put you in stocks and bonds or real estate trusts. 60% stock, 40% bonds. I'm 95% gold and silver, 5% baseball cards. I mean, it's why would I be in stocks at all? There's no reason to be in stocks. They're at the high, they're going down, they're manipulated anyway. They're pumping money in to keep the stock market up. And bonds, how can you buy a bond? You'll never get paid back. We're $39 trillion in debt. You think you're going to get your money back? And if you do, it's going to be inflated and worthless. We're in 18 wars. We have no money. What? You can trust this government? Are you kidding me? So I'm waiting to hear from this kid about what his teacher said. But I'm sure the teacher was over his head. But this is the problem. They're teaching all these people not about gold and silver like I teach here, but more about we're the reserve currency. We can print as much money as we want. It won't affect it. Sort of like I told this guy about the diabetes at the pool, and he's got a big patch and it pumps insulin in it. That's the worst thing for you. You shouldn't be pumping insulin into your body. Your body makes it, leave it alone. And then he goes, well, I went to my doctor about fasting and about this. And he said, don't fast. And no, you need this. And so he listened to his doctor, not our doctor. I told him to fuck off, and I don't talk to him anymore. I don't want to talk to stupid people. And if you're too stupid to trust me or at least look into my doctor, I gave him the doctor. And no, my doctor said I shouldn't fast. Okay, good luck. You'll be dead soon, but good luck. And that's the same thing with gold and silver. If they don't want to listen, you just walk away. You can't get frustrated and you can't keep the conversation going. What's your point on gold and silver? Do you like it or not? Do you think it's going to save you? And if, it's 5,200 an ounce now, fellas. It never got over 2,000 and now it's 52 and it's going to 10. It's not at a high. It's just going to keep running once we get rid of these down days on COMEX, which are purely fabricated. There's huge demand and there's no supply of gold and silver. So why the fuck would the price be going down? It's manipulated. It's price fixed. It's all bullshit. Again, another point of the banks running the country. And why does COMEX put out the price for the whole world? I don't know. It makes no sense why there is no physical price and the whole world looks at COMEX. I'm from India, but I look at COMEX, and I'm in Russia and I'm looking at COMEX. It's like, what the fuck? So anyway, it's just insanity. So TK, that's why people are billionaires more than ever before now, cause the dollar is fixed. Well, they're billionaires mostly on their stock portfolios. All the money's being put into the market, pushing up these companies. And so like Meta might get all this money in, or Amazon. And so they're billionaires, but it's not in money. It's just in stocks. Their stock is worth more. So they're billionaires. That's like Musk is rich because of his stock. Not rich because he's rich. Doesn't have any money. It's just his stock value because the government pushes the money into their stocks to make it look at the stock market. It's doing well. So our economy is doing well. It's all bullshit. Bears trade Bills DJ Moore. I thought he was a good receiver. Well, they got the other guy, the guy they drafted last year. You've been to Rome, TK? How was it? I didn't go to Rome, but if you see my thumbnails, it's a lot of Paloma off the Amalfi Coast. So when you see the water in my pictures, it's the Mediterranean. Never been to Rome. I didn't have a desire because I hear it's all touristy and it's pretty dangerous, but the Amalfi Coast was nice. We're on the coast. I like the Italian girls in Italy. Well, I was with Jenna, so I had the Ukrainian girl there. We actually met a Russian couple, and I asked the guy, "How did you get here?" Because I knew Daria couldn't leave; she doesn't have a visa. And he said, "Well, we have dual visas. We have a Spanish visa, so I used that one to come here." And I'm like, "Yeah. The clever Russians." Was this ironic? Sitting next to us is a Russian couple, and here's poor Jenna, Ukrainian. Anyway, problem with Italy is they not a lot speak English. I had a hard time in this little um, Amalfi Coast getting people to speak English. Probably in Rome it would be easier. I'm sure the hotels understand it, and the restaurants probably understand it. When I was in Cannes, the south of France, the restaurants would understand English. I was in Monte Carlo. That was kind of neat. Although you couldn't bring cameras into the casino, and what's the point of going in if I can't take pictures? I don't need to go in. I can go to Caesar's Palace and take pictures. So once I heard that, that was ridiculous. And that was it. So most places, Switzerland, they speak English, obviously. Austria does. Germany, pretty much so. Spain, Portugal is a little difficult. Portugal doesn't speak English that well. Amsterdam does. Ukraine does because it's like a second language. No, it was a while ago since I was there. Safe at a hotel and restaurant. Even at the restaurant, if they don't, they usually have pictures on the menu. Here's the chicken dish, here's the beef dish, and you just point to the picture. That's universal, the picture, right? Oh, yeah, that's the steak. Yeah, I'll take that. Now, a lot of people take the dollar because it's money. Everybody accepts the dollar. Now that's going to go to gold. I don't see the yuan being a reserve currency. It's very heavily inflated. Now backed by gold, then it's the gold that will be the universal. But that's where we're headed. And all these wars are bankrupting the U.S. And that's going to be the problem. That's what happened in Rome way back in the 200, 300 BC days. So as the Roman Empire was 250 BC to 500 AD. And so the Italian lira was probably, the gold was probably the reserve currency or the currency used, but all the wars and all the inflation caused that to go out. So just keep in mind, these wars are no good. Our $39 trillion debt is just going higher and higher. The government employees, there's too many employees to pay. We don't have revenue. The government is not a business. It doesn't get any revenue in. They try to tax us, but as the people get older, we're retiring. We're not paying the tax we used to. As the people get laid off, they're not paying the tax, and more people are into Bitcoin. So they're not working. They live in mom and dad's basement with the Bitcoin, and they're not working. So they're not paying tax. So you got to keep up with the change of everything. Our government falling apart, the defense contractors running it, the billionaires running it, the dollar going out. There's a lot of change. The cryptocurrency, again, you can't fight me on it because you have no case that it's real that you can present to me. You can say it's 21 million. I don't buy it. And everybody holds it because they all think it's going to go up. But somebody sold it. If it went down to 65,000, somebody sold it, right? So be careful with that. Again, it's not real. You can't use it. Try to go to a grocery store and say, will you take Bitcoin, or a restaurant or a car dealership or anywhere that you will spend money. Go to the dollar store. Will you take Bitcoin? No. Now, they might not take gold and silver now, but they will. when the dollar goes out. I showed you that Germany clip, and what happened? They started taking silver at the grocery stores, right? And again, in the wheelbarrow was only Reichsmarks, not US dollars, not British pounds, and not gold and silver. The wheelbarrows here will be full of US dollars. That's it. And British pounds and Canadian dollar, whatever it is, but it won't be full of gold and silver. And of course, it won't be full of Bitcoin because Bitcoin's not real. Try to use Bitcoin when everything collapses. It'll never take. People have to be set up and people will need to get to dollars. So eventually the gold and silver will be the dollar. You'll take the ounce of gold. Well, you'll take a tenth of an ounce of silver to go to Kroger's, and they'll take it because they're not going to go out of business. They sell food. Well, they're still going to sell food. We still need to eat, and that's what happened in Germany. They still needed to eat. They just didn't take the Reichsmark anymore. But if you had silver, they would take silver for a month's worth of food, and that's what will happen. So silver and gold are always going to be money. They're always going to hold a value because they're limited and can't be printed. And they're very, very pretty, and everybody wants them. So as long as everybody wants them and you can't do anything with them, then they're always going to be good. And in any country, we can go to Italy, we can go to Germany, and the gold and silver will work. What won't work will be the euro, the dollar, and everything else. And as keep an eye on BRICS. But the U.S., we're in very, very big trouble. I don't know how much longer we have till they collapse the country because without currency, you don't have a country. How do you trade? How do you buy things if the currency is no longer? So that's where we're headed because that's what George Soros wants. He wants the currency to collapse. And it's close. All these wars, all they do is collapse the currency. You need more currency to buy more weapons, more Tomahawk missiles, just regular guns, fuel, the jet fuel for the boat. You got to feed all the people on the boat, like under siege, and you need petrol to make the boats run, and then you got to fire your little missiles, which cost a lot of money to replace if you can replace them. So they walked into Iran thinking, what? I'm sure the Russians and Chinese are helping them in some way, but the Russians have got to be loving it because now with the Strait of Hormuz closed, they love it. Okay, buy from us. We're open. We're the grocery store that's open. And here comes China to shop and India to shop and Japan to shop, Korea. All these that got oil from the Strait of Hormuz are now pulling up the Russian gas station. And Russia can charge a little bit more, and that's the problem with it. All right. So, what else do we need to talk about? I think that's mostly it. U.S. arms Kurdish fighters in Iran to start a civil war. It's not gonna matter. They won't do that. I watched Mark Farber yesterday. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get what inflation is. It's amazing that you think these guys are smart, but they're all traders. They're all like stockbrokers. They don't understand Austrian economists. And it's amazing as I'm beginning to think I'm the only one that knows Austrian economy because nobody knows it. And even when you watch, Alligator, he doesn't get it. I think Egon probably gets it a little bit more than the others, but I think Egon listens to me because I all of a sudden he's like, yeah, the value of gold is going up where he thinks it doesn't. But I think those guys are what, because I'm starting to hear what I say, they're starting to pick up on. Let's look at this one stoic thing. 7 phases fake people use. And this is good because if you hear somebody say these things, you know they're fake to you.
7 phrases fake people always use. Showing you a smile is on your side. 7 phrases fake people always use. Not everyone showing you a smile is on your side. Some people have worn their mask so long, they've forgotten there's a face underneath. But their words? Their words always betray them. Here are 7 phrases that reveal a fake person immediately. 1. I say it like it is. No, they say it to hurt and hide behind honesty. 2. I just want what's best for you. Watch closely. Whose best are they actually serving? 3. I would never do that to you. Genuine people don't make that promise. They simply don't do it. 4. I hate drama, yet somehow, chaos lives wherever they go. 5. You're being too sensitive. Translation, I refuse to own what I did. 6. I'm loyal to the ones I love. Loyalty announced is loyalty performed, not felt. 7. I'm not like other people. Real ones never say it. They prove it quietly, every single day. Here is what Stoic wisdom teaches us. Character is not what someone claims in a conversation. It is what they do when no one is watching. Trust the pattern, not the words. If this resonates, comment the number that hit you hardest. Most people.
So always actions speak louder than words. And then here's one for us. 5 signs you're mentally stronger than everybody.
Confuse strength with loud confidence or never showing emotion. But the Stoics knew better. True mental strength is quiet, invisible, and rare. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So here are 5 signs you're mentally stronger than most people, according to Stoic wisdom. 1. You don't react to every provocation. Weak minds respond to everything. Strong minds choose their battles. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. If someone insults you and you stay calm, that's not weakness, that's mastery. 2. You accept what you can't control. Most people waste energy fighting reality. You've learned to let go. Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. You don't panic over delayed flights, rejection, or bad weather. You adapt. You move forward. That's rare strength. 3. You're comfortable being alone. Weak people fear silence. Strong people recharge in it. A Stoic doesn't need constant distraction or validation. Solitude doesn't scare you. It strengthens you. Marcus Aurelius often retreated inward, saying, nowhere can man find a quieter retreat than in his own soul. 4. You don't need to prove yourself insecure. People talk. Mentally strong people act. Then stay silent. You don't brag. You don't argue to be right. You don't need the spotlight. Epictetus warned, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish. True strength doesn't need an audience. 5. You've turned pain into wisdom. Weak minds break under pressure. Strong minds are forged by it. The Stoics believed suffering builds character if you learn from it. Seneca wrote, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. If you've been through hell and came out wiser, not bitter, you're already stronger than most. Final Stoic truth. Mental strength isn't about never feeling fear, anger, or sadness. It's about feeling it and still choosing reason over reaction. If you recognize these 5 signs in yourself, you're not just strong. You're practicing stoicism, whether you knew it or not.
We're Stoic, everybody. Let's see. Egon, gold to 10,000, silver to 666. We've seen that one. Thousands of flights disrupted as travel because of the war. This is more in the Middle East. Iran attacks 15 countries. So now Saudi Arabia is in the war. Really? What the fuck's going on? So the whole Middle East is at war. It's terrible. Let me see if that's Alyssa. My plan ends tomorrow. That's what I knew. Uh, so I watch some of these guys. They kind of give you what's going on these channels. Scott Ritter and Larry Johnson and Colonel McGregor uh, are probably the best ones that give you a realistic view of what's going on. Mark Ferber, I don't know. I was surprised by what he had said, so don't agree with him. Anyway, anything else that you'd like to know? But the war is very expensive because it's not any. There's no income coming in. So imagine you're an ice cream store and you're not getting nobody's buying your ice cream, but you're remodeling and you're moving to a bigger shop and you got more employees, but you're not getting revenue in. How long are you going to last? You're not. You're done because the bottom line is you need the revenue. And the problem with governments, there's no revenue. I like how they call taxes revenue. You're never going to get enough taxes to cover the revenue or enough revenue to cover the expense because you're always going to add expense because you're trying to buy votes. You're trying to be liked. Oh, we'll give you this. We'll give you that. We'll raise this. We'll raise that. We'll give everybody food, everybody this, everybody that. And so, and you never pull it back. So you give bread or whatever, and you never take it back. And then more people take it. And that happens in every government in the world. As it starts crumbling, they start giving away freebies. So they blind the people, and you like it. And everybody's fucked, basically. Everybody is fucked here. Um, I don't know. I'm looking. Maybe you move to Thailand or Singapore or something. Seems like the only places to go. Uh, I don't know. Maybe some Latin America countries, but basically, it's we're fucked here because it's basically the currency isn't worth anything. So we got to see the new currency. That'll save us. But if people think that the currency is worth something, they're out of their minds. It's printed to death. Everything you see at the grocery store is going up. That's your proof. So if you don't believe anybody, if you don't believe me, just look. You got a $39 trillion debt and you got go to the grocery store, everything's expensive. At what point do you think everything's fine? Oh, inflation's fine. No, it isn't. It's $3.99 for a cauliflower head. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. So that's the problem. You're very much in we're in big problems. Let's check our gold and silver. Even though we know it's fake, we know it's Comex, we know it's paper, and we're dealing in physical. Let's just take a look at what it is. Um, All right, so we got silver at a whopping 81.83, but at least it's staying in the 80s. And gold starting to come back, 50.78. It's obviously should be 5,500. We wonder why it's going down. We really don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. Let's just check the market. I don't know why it's so price fixed. It's so dishonest and corrupt. So it's 47,706 down 1,000. So it doesn't really show much. It still shows 47, even though it's down 1,000. That you got to look at. But let's look at Bitcoin then. So Bitcoin's down to 70,000. It got to 65 and then it went up to 73. And now it's 70. Why is it going down if everybody in Bitcoin thinks it's just going to go up? All right. So I'll leave you with that. Again, this is not real. This is paper, and we're dealing in physical. So we kind of ignore it because we know it's price fixed. Uh, the banks that are shorting it are buying oil, as I showed you, because oil is the supplies being corrupted by the war in the Straits of Hormuz. So the the price of oil of gas is going up because of a shortage supply. But again, it's priced on Comex, so you can't believe anything said. However, I'm driving around. It's still uh, you still should be able to get gas for like 280, 290 at certain places. Depends on what city. If I go to Alyssa's, it's 270. If I drive out here, it's like 290 or $3. And anyway, that's about it. My birthday Saturday. I expect birthday gifts. I don't know. I might go to the casino tomorrow for my birthday. Well, I'd have to go Saturday because I would want to go on the 7th, not the 6th. 7 it would be a lucky number. And that's it. I'll have some lunch. I'll go to the pool, and that's it. So have a good day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. So keep an eye. So understand. Just read what's going on. All the central banks buying gold and silver. The gold and silver paper price down because in the option world they're going into the oil and avoiding this. This war is partly Russia benefits from it. The only people that really don't benefit are the U.S. and Israel. It's very expensive to fire their weapons, and they got to replace them, which they can't. And Russia gets the benefit of people buying oil, their oil, instead of from the Straits of Hormuz, instead of Iran's oil. Um, it's just a long time. This war with Ukraine and Russia is just, I mean, it's just past 4 years because it started with the Olympics. Now we just had the Olympics. It's 4 years. It's still going. I hate this term, these forever wars. Like, what is that? What are they doing? Afghanistan. Why did it take 20 years to have it? Well, because they wanted to sell defense. Well, the defense contractors wanted to keep the war going. So it's just really a joke. And I don't know how much longer this war can go on because we don't have the missiles. I don't know how much longer we're going to be controlled by the Israelis, but I guess it's all blackmail of Jeffrey Epstein with Trump and his cronies going to the island, obviously being with young girls. So, I mean, it's, believe me, if it wasn't, then they would ignore it. But it's crazy. So anyway, time for lunch. Don't worry about gold and silver. It'll go back up. There's a lot of demand. There's no supply. The fundamentals of physical haven't changed, so we don't really worry about it. We just see an up buying opportunity. Like I said, I'll probably go tomorrow and go buy some silver. I only want to buy 4 ounces. Go on the credit card. But if you want to give it to me at 81, I don't have a lot of money for it because everything I have is in gold and silver. But it's my birthdays, so I will get a few ounces, and that's about it. So have a good day. Enjoy www.tjking.com and be safe. All right, everybody. Buy your gold and silver, put in the safe. Get out of the banking system. Get out of the Wall Street. They're going to eat you alive. All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you.